Welcome back to the Breakdown Podcast YouTube channel. My name is Corey, and on this video, we are going to be discussing the latest episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch. And by I say we, I mean Vic and I.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Yeah, you actually got it right on the first run this time. Good job. I'm very proud of you. Yes, we are back once again to fill your ear holes, as Corey likes to say. Oddly enough, it's just
I need
really
to find
weird.
it. I need a weird.
It's really weird, dude. You really do need to find a new catchphrase for that. But Corey, I believe as we do, let's break this down.
Yeah, before we break it down, we do want to let you know we do our show live on Tuesdays on Twitch at 7 p.m. ish. That's at twitch.tv/MillerKing_51. The link is down below in the description. And while you're there, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. It does really help support us. And also leave some comments. Let us know what you think and what you think of our review. Tell us, if we're done for our ideas, which we could be. Now, Vic, let's break it down.
All right, this week's episode number 13, is titled Infested. This is the first episode of The Bad Batch that I'm kind of disappointed in, to be completely honest.
Yeah, this episode started out really weird because they come back from a mission which I assume was last episode's mission.
That's the kicker. We don't know. That's exactly where it started coming off weird to me. I'm like, are they just coming back from saving? I don't get it. Like, they didn't make any mention of the mission they were on. Like, there was no talk of anything. They just came back from a random mission, and upon returning, they walk into Sid's parlor, and she's not there. The crime boss Roland Durand is in charge.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, they find Sid sitting outside in their shuttle, and because he's like, hey, I heard you guys work for Sid, now you work for me. And Hunter's like, whatever, dude, you must not know who you're talking to. So they draw down on each other. The problem is Roland is backed by the Pike Syndicate. The Pikes,
I don't know who that is either.
So the Pikes there are gang syndicates that popped up after the Republic was defeated by the Empire. And these crime syndicates, if you remember in Solo? No. Well, kind of. What's the best way to explain this to you? Oh, in episode 7, when we see Han and Chewie on that freighter that they were piloting, and you had the two crime syndicates come in and like, you owe us money, blah blah blah. Those were two of the crime syndicates. The Pikes are probably the most violent of all of the crime syndicates, and their people are literally just like sadistic murderers, basically. And they kind of control the spice trade in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
And that's what this episode was about.
I mean, here's the thing. From the standpoint of somebody that hasn't watched, Clone Wars, hasn't watched the other
Rebels
animated one, Rebels. Thank you. And doesn't know a lot of the backstories on these things from the different books and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I'm going, okay, I don't know who this random guy is that just decided to take over Carlos Bar.
Right.
Is that Sam Beck, or what's his name? Not Sam. Yeah, Sam
Malone.
Sam Malone. I don't know who, and he's talking about the Pikes. I'm like, I don't know who the hell that is either.
Yeah.
Or I thought that was in Star Trek, but it's like. Yes, it's fine that they're going to this deep lore, but you still got some of us going, I don't know who the hell these are. A little exposition would have been nice.
I feel like, and you are correct, but I think that they're riding on the fact that anybody who's going to get into Bad Batch, if they're starting their Star Wars experience with Bad Batch, I feel like they know they should have gone and watched some other stuff. Because you're kind of jumping into jumping into like the third season of a storyline You know what I mean? Like, it would be like, okay, I've watched season 1. I have never watched anything to do with Game of Thrones, but season 3 just came out. I'm gonna start watching here, and you're going,
that's different.
Who the fuck is Ned Stark? No, it's not. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's different because Bad Batch, you know, is yes, it's a spinoff of another show. Yes. I get that, but I mean. Okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna argue with that.
I saw your brain going towards my side of the theory. It's just a matter of like knowing the story and being able to catch up. And unfortunately, especially this episode, you have no idea what's happening. I know who the Pikes are. I've watched the prior and the latter shows, or the 2 prior shows, so I do understand what's going on in the storyline, and who they are. But you know, it has to do basically with your usual like drug syndicate thing. As far as the story goes,
I figured as much.
As far as the story goes, you can make out that, hey, this is just about the Bad Batch screwing up a drug syndicate. Where Sid, you know, the drug syndicate moved into town. They took over the big hitter in town, which was Sid. You know, you walk in and you knock down the biggest dog in the yard, and that's Sid. So he takes over Sid's bar. On top of that, he was someone who Sid was familiar with because he's the one who hired Sid and the Batch to go find his lizard, Rosie. So it wasn't like he was a stranger to the situation. He knew what he was doing when he took over the bar. So basically Sid's plan is we need to go in, we need to steal the spice, we need to hide it so the Pikes get pissed off at Roland and then give me my bar back, and then we'll just give them their spice back and everything will be hunky-dory. But to do that, they had to sneak back in, and in order to sneak back in, they had to use the mining tunnels underneath of the city in order to re-enter Sid's club or bar.
Office.
Right. So when they get there, you know, they steal the spice. The normal heist episode is basically what this comes down to. It's the Italian Job in space is exactly what it is. If you think about the Italian Job, they bust through the floor, they steal all the stuff in there, they drop it into the boat, and then they take off. It's exactly what happened.
I was thinking more of the Bank Job with Jason Statham.
No,
because they went underneath and came up, got everything, went back down.
That's exactly what they did. Remember that, because they put the explosives underneath the floor and they dropped the safe into the boat. In Italian Job? Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, either story works.
Wait a minute. Then there's another Jason Statham movie that did it.
Yeah, any of them will fit.
Any Jason Statham movie, this was done. Fit.
You can even go Ocean's 11 if we really want to. But,
yeah, we really wanted to. But he's not in that.
They managed to steal the thing, but while this is all going on, and the reason why this is called Infested is because there is a hive of these insects that live in the underneath the ground of that world, and when they are trying to go through, they have to try to be as quiet as possible because they don't want to wake them up, because if they wake them up, then I guess they'll kill them. Though nobody seems to die from the Earlings when they wake them up, except for a bunch of no-name nobodies that work for the Pike Syndicate and whatever. So the elaborate plan that she uses Cliff and
Cliff and Norm.
Yeah, she uses Cliff and Norm to distract them while they steal all the spice. They get away with it. They eventually lose the spice in the tunnels because the Earlings wake up and fuck everything up as normal. And they have to go back, and Tech does his techie thing where he creates this giant flash bomb that disrupts the Earlings because they're cavern dwellers and they don't like light, and it's just
I like that she kept calling him Goggles. That was making me laugh.
She's been calling him that the whole time.
I know.
She calls him Goggles. She calls him Muscles.
Muscles.
And she just calls Hunter, but whatever.
she calls Omega something too.
Yeah,
I can't remember now.
Well, she calls what's she call her? Small Fry or something like that. I don't know. But the Pikes basically are like, we're gonna hold this kid hostage until you do this, and you bring our spice back, and everything will be good. So they bring the spice back, and because they took the spice in the first place, they make an example of old boy Roland. They make an example of him. They cut off one of his horns and take it with them, and The big story behind it is Roland's mother in the lore is another big like crime syndicate leader. So like there's the Pike and like Roland's family, they're their own syndicate as well. But he's trying to branch out and do things on his own, and that's why he's dealing the spice with the Pikes and yada yada yada. So he basically just burned his chance of becoming his own man. He's gonna have to go crawling back to mommy for cover after all this.
Here's the thing about this episode. The more we've talked about it, the more I don't like it.
Yeah.
At first I was indifferent to it, but the more that I think about it, there was no point in this episode.
Yeah. It did nothing. It did nothing to progress the story at all.
Yeah, the main story was not even touched upon. We didn't see Crosshair, whatever, sure shot, whatever. Sure. We didn't see any of that stuff. We didn't see any of the main storyline. This was all a legitimate side story that could have been left untold.
Well,
it's a pointless episode because this guy's going to end up going off. We're not going to hear from him again. So he's not going to have any effect on the group. Sid's got her bar back. So
that's
what was the point of that?
Where you may be wrong. And I'm only saying this because I can't see Filoni and Favreau, the double Fs. I can't see them putting this story into play without it having some sort of a connection to whatever's coming next. And there's only one episode left. So
that makes it even worse.
Yeah, with there only being one episode left, it has to be some sort of a and
if that's the case, that means there's like 25 minutes left. There's no way the story with what is getting wrapped up in 25 minutes. So there's there's got to be a season 2.
Yes, that's the positive point to it. That's why I'm saying like what's going on with it is not it's not something that has anything to do with the prior story, but it is something that has to do with probably with the future storyline. And the title of next episode is War Mantle. And War Mantle was a it's, how do I explain it?
I don't know.
So Project War Mantle is basically the Empire's like proclamation that they're going to start using conscripted humans to make stormtroopers. So this is like the nail in the coffin of the clone troopers is basically what it comes down to. If that makes sense. So they're like, hey, we're not going to use clone troopers anymore. We're going to start using whoever volunteers to be soldiers. We're going to start kidnapping kids and turning them into stormtroopers is basically what it comes down to. So with that being the deal, then that's where they're gonna come into it. So Tarkin is probably going to be in the next episode. It's going to lead into the storyline probably where it's somebody that they know is going to get conscripted or something. I don't know, but it's wide open. We know that it's going to basically lead into a cliffhanger of some sort that's going to lead us into a season 2. So the idea that there's going to be some grand thing that happens with Crosshair is pretty much not going to exist. Next season is going to be Crosshair going into the hard hunt for them, I think. So whatever this turns into, it's going to be nothing more than the Kaminoans trying to scramble to stop War Mantle from happening, which we know happens. That's kind of the bad part about watching kind of prequel situations. So we know that that's coming down the pike. That was not meant to be a pun. We know that's coming, and we know that they don't succeed in creating the next generation of clone troopers, but there is a third phase to the clone trooper project, which is what they're trying to get Omega back for. So I think the cliffhanger for this is simply going to be that Omega's going to get taken. And it's going to leave it on that cliffhanger more so than anything else.
And then
I think Crosshair's going to get a hold of her, and they're going to show him yanking her into an Imperial shuttle and taking off with her, and that's going to be the end of the episode.
You said that Omega's going to get taken. And then Qui-Gon is going to come back and he's like,
"No, it'll be Hunter, dude, not Qui-Gon. It'll be Hunter."
No. Yes. I have serious set of skills. I will find you and I will kill you.
It will be Hunter, not Hunter. Hunter is her Qui-Gon. So that's who it'll end up being. But
Liam needs to play Qui-Gon. That's the joke.
It took them this many episodes to finally make one that I didn't find super interesting and enjoyable. The obviously the artwork is on par with what they've always done, but it was just very dark and because they were in the cavern most of the time. You know, the kind of drab interaction with Roland was just kind of whatever. The Pikes were probably the best part of the entire episode because their attitudes were right on point with what we know of the Pikes and how they
look like
business.
Snakes.
Yeah, they do kind of look like cobras in helmets. But they are fierce dudes. And I like the idea that they kind of introduced them as a problem moving forward. So we'll see where it ends up going. And I don't see. No, don't sit on the. God dang it, cat! Don't sit on the keyboard. So we'll see where they end up going with the whole thing. But with one episode left, I really don't think that there's going to be a whole lot they can do in this next episode. That's going to keep them from not doing a season 2 altogether. So we'll see.
Yeah, there definitely has to be a season 2. So with that said, we do want to thank for watching, and we do hope you enjoyed it. And on behalf of Vic,
that's me.
I'm Corey. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.